Have you had that asked of you? Not like me. Well, you know, I'm always tempted to say, and I do most of the time say, maybe a little flippantly, well, how far do you want me to go back? Because you all know why I say that. But I'll tell you, I was at the fair with Reverend Jane, and actually I heard a lot of people say, well, where are you from? And what I heard is a place in Kansas that I was not familiar with. So the thing is, we all want to know, well, where are you from, right? And we have those answers for us. And you know, I have a lot of stuff behind me. So when in seminary, we were asked to write our credo. Now you all know what the credo is, right? It's what you believe in. It's a statement of faith. Right? Now, of course, being in seminary, this was a long, big document. I will spare you what I wrote in there. But it relates to my spiritual roots. So while I'm telling you some of these things, I want you to be considering your own, because I'm wanting you to be thinking about that. So my spiritual roots is really what I'm talking about here. Not the physical roots where we answer the question, where are you from? Where are you going? You know, and somebody is in a gas station, you know, sometimes people will ask, or in a little quick shop, you know, well, where are you going? I'm asked that a lot when I get my coffee on my way to Pawnee Rock. Oh, where are you going? They don't ask me where I'm coming from. It's interesting. But anyway, spiritual roots are something else. Where I come from spiritually is really important for me to think about. It wasn't seminary, because my roots aren't what I am now. I started out as a Baptist with a Swedenborgian perspective from my father. But I had to make a decision at about age 15 when I decided that I really didn't want to go to Baptist church with my mother anymore. And the decision was difficult because my mother wanted me to be with her when I was in church. And so my roots are really deep. The roots that are hard to ignore. And you see, you all have those. You all have things that are part of your life. Maybe you don't think about consciously, but they hold you. Those are your attachments. Your roots are really attachments. Attachments to your family, but also to the things that you grew to love as a child. So spiritual roots have to do with what were you attached to as a child? For me, it was reading the Bible, and it was in Hungarian. That I was very attached to in my spiritual roots. But as time went on, you know, I kind of got pulled up. So this morning, actually I tried doing this yesterday. So I have some roots here. And I tried getting these little trees up. Well, here I was, dressed in my Sunday clothes, trying to dig up roots. Have you ever done that? I thought it was going to take me 2 minutes. I had a knife. Guess what? This guy, this one here, I don't know if you can see it. I ended up cutting the root. That's the only way I could get it out. Now, folks, that's actually a metaphor for what happened in my life. Okay? I was literally cut off from my roots, my grandparents' family. And it was not exactly pleasant, as all cut-offs are. There were times of bitterness, anguish. But you know what? I got new roots. I got new roots in many different ways. And for me, the writings, the church itself gave me new roots. And that was a long process, actually. You know, it's the process of growing. We say in Swedenborgian thought that the leaves are the truths that come up, you know, from the ground first. But underneath are the roots. And we mustn't forget the roots are really there. We may not be aware of them. And they are a part of our psyche, of our whole way of looking at the world. The way of looking at spiritual life is rooted in those beliefs that you held on to, you were attached to as a child, and you grew from that. And so then I also was able, so here's the one I had to cut off. That's the only way I could get it out. Now, you know, it's interesting. This is not that many leaves, right? I thought I could get this out in nothing flat, but I had to cut it out. This one, look how tiny it is. So, you know, the thing is, we hear the saying, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Well, I kind of look at that. As in heaven, what is above the ground is in heaven. It's reaching up for heaven. But what's below is attached to the things of the earth. So we pray, as in heaven, so upon the earth. But you know, you got to have nourishment from both places in order to thrive. So roots are all about being attached. What are you attached to? Do you need to have new roots? That's a question that you only can answer. So my credo has a whole lot to do, this very long document, I think 30 pages, 20-something, with footnotes, has so much to do with this idea of a new me. A lot of my old roots are no longer active for me. But I have new roots, and I know that all of you have them as well. The question is, you know, how do you get to that? Do you have to be pulled out to examine that? The only way you can look at a root, unless it's on a glass cage, is to pull it up and look at it. And so this time of year, I won't be here with you actually when the date is the time of year that's called in the Jewish calendar the days of awe. I love that. Don't you love that? That's beautiful. It is the days before Rosh Hashanah, which is the Jewish New Year. And you know, it blew me away when I read this, when I read about Rosh Hashanah. I have before in the past. It's a time to consider what is your life about. It's a time of supplication, of going inward, of looking at your life and looking at your evils you have done. So it's called the Days of Awe, and it leads up to Rosh Hashanah, which is the New Year. So it goes for me together, this time of year, to be thinking about looking at what's happening in your spiritual roots. What's going on there? What's happening there? Because you see, there is a new day coming. There is a new year coming. It's a perpetual, constant thing. We call it in Christian terms being reborn. But you know, it's not a once in a lifetime thing. The Jewish people celebrate Rosh Hashanah every single year. We celebrate New Year's as a culture. But you know, this New Year is really a very spiritual time. Very, very beautiful time of year. Time of the harvest. How perfect is that? So Rosh Hashanah is very much in the air for us when we consider our roots and consider there is a new year coming. What will you do in that new year? And will you pray for the sweetness to be a part of your life? The Jewish people do that. They dip apple in honey. They pray for sweetness to come into their new year. I think that's a very beautiful thing to do. Beautiful thoughts on that. And so it comes together when we come together in Holy Communion. We are actually supposed to do just that. We are supposed to be looking at our lives. And so it's a perfect time for us to have communion. And may it be so in our lives.